So, after much heartache and soul searching, I have switched over to using the LM324N op amp. And I just got it in the mail today and put it on the breadboard and started playing with it. And yeah, it's a lot better for this application than the op amp that I was trying to use. The shoot, what is it called now? There we go, the 741, I believe. Yeah, LM741. Yeah, so if you are going to be looking to purchase an op amp, go with this little bugger. You end up getting 4 of them per chip, and when these things rail low, they rail all the way to the inverting input. So with the inverting input that I have set to ground, when this rails low, it will actually go low. When it rails high, it's about a volt lower than your non-inverting input, or non-inverting source. Your positive source and your negative source. So, and the way it's laid out is actually pretty easy. You have your ground up here in the middle, your source, VCC, down here in the middle. Then you have your inverting, and then around on the corners you have your outputs, and then in from the outputs, one pin closer to the center, you have all of your inverting inputs, and then one pin further in toward the center is your non-inverting inputs. And then this op amp is a lot more sensitive. The sensitivity on this thing is somewhere in the neighborhood of something like a 1/5 of a volt, I believe. Even less than that. But it will very easily fall over into the rail. It's very sensitive. Rail high or rail low, depending on what you're doing. So probably what I'm going to end up doing is taking this fan control circuit that I have and redoing it to incorporate the use of one of the op amps on this chip. And what I'll be doing, the reason I'll be doing that is to, make use of 3 of the 4 op amps on this chip instead of only 2 of the 4 to, get the most of my money out of it. Doing that should actually improve the accuracy and the performance of this fan circuit. And then when the fan, turns off, I won't have to, worry so much about making sure it's off and, grounded and blah, 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 blah. I'll pretty much be able to do almost a straight drop-in replacement, just hooking the inverting input and the non-inverting input. I've also purchased some new potentiometers, so that way I'll be able to put a potentiometer on here to adjust the hysteresis thresholds. So what I'll be left with is one potentiometer to set the temperature's absolute set point, and then a second potentiometer to set essentially a plus or minus value. So I could have my temperature set, so I could have my fan running when my temperature is plus or minus so many degrees away from the set point. It means that fan would kick on when it gets that many degrees above the set point and stop when it's so many degrees below the set point. And I believe I've already gone over that, but it'll be a nice and handy way to adjust the thresholds on the hysteresis for the fan. And now that I actually do have this op amp and the matching MOSFET, which has been demonstrated to work effectively for this project, as well as my nice chunky 50-watt resistor, I should be able to put this together on a breadboard at this point and figure out exactly what I want to do. From there, I'll then need to update my schematic drawings, and then see about moving further into possibly prototyping it. Couple of other items that I did receive in the mail from Mouser. Pull these out real quick. And these I'm going to be kind of looking forward to getting into. And of course, as with everything in life, you had what you wanted just a second ago. Okay, here's part of it. And not that one. And this just proves the absolute need for some form of categorization. I will seriously have to make an attempt to organize, because I'm keeping all of my stuff in one big box. Well, two big boxes actually, if you've watched all the videos. Alright, well, I'll just go with what I have out. So, if you've been watching some of the previous videos, you would have seen me playing with these PNP audio amplifying transistors, and burning myself and, basically not having a fun time with it. I've decided to continue torturing myself with these little buggers. What I've done is I have received in the mail the NPN versions of these audio amplifying transistors. And so hopefully I'll be able to determine once and for all the pin configurations. But the PNP is the BD140, the NPN is the BD139. And to add to that, I believe also did a video going on a little bit about transistors. Yeah, the 2N2222 I had on the breadboard I was playing with. Well, I got some more of the 2N22s, and these are the NPNs, and then I also have the PNP version of the little transistor around. And I'm hoping to be able to do something interesting with those, or something fun. I certainly have a few of them. I believe I have like 20 of them. Another big thing is a bag of Legos. Haha, no. And these I'm actually kind of excited about. Little block terminals. These are very common on things that need to have wires connected to them. Here's one board that has a couple of them. Here's another, and it's got one right there and one over there. There's a third, Right here, here's a board that I have that comes with, little block terminals to solder onto it. So these things are, very commonly used everywhere. I managed to get a bag of 100 two-terminal, or two-post terminals, and I like these things a little bit because you can put them on your breadboard. You can't put them in two holes side by side. It's, you gotta have a hole in between them, but still, that's, something you can snap right onto your breadboard very easily. And even with a larger breadboard, if you're willing to kind of have it on there a little twisted, you could even put it on there for your power rail. And then what makes these even super stupid cool is, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this on the camera, but there's a little groove on each side of them, and you can kind of join these together in a little bit of a Lego-ish fashion. There we go, very easily. And I just turned a 2-post into a 4-post. So I don't have to worry about, running out of terminals or posts on my block terminals. And then of course you can get them back to, you can take them apart again. Of course, that means you have to remember how you put them in together to begin with, which is always the more challenging part of it. There we go. Yeah. So, yeah, what I think I'm going to end up doing then is going off, figuring that out, figuring this out, getting them both put together, and then for a power source, what I'm going to end up doing is just throw on this buck converter onto the system. I'll be able to, step it down, to a decent voltage. I've been playing with 12 volts, but, other designs use 6. I will need to decide kind of what I'm wanting to do with that. Do I want to go with 12 volts? Do I want to go with 6? If I decide to go with 6 volts, that'll make my job really easy, because I'll be able to use this buck converter along with, hey, a friendly handy-dandy 9-volt battery, step that down to 6, end up kind of wasting 3 here in the converter, but that's life, and running the little micro components off of that. Problem is, I got this big chunking fan right here. The fan is, it's actually wanting 12 volts. So, going with the, 6-volt system is probably not an option if I want to have the fan on there. For that, but then maybe I could just put two 9-volts on it and have, go with an 18 volts on the 9-volt and then step that down to 12. That would probably work pretty well. Depends on whether or not I get the batteries too hot. I'll have to make sure I don't do that. Little shits like this, they're meant to drain down, so it's not a big deal. And I got rechargeable batteries, so hey. So, at this point, I'm going to turn off the camera for now.